Hi guys. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a luxury install for our toilet here. I'm going to be installing a bidet. My name is Chris. I'm a certified RV technician for Unique Camping and Marine. Welcome to Camper Care. So with this bidet, a couple of things. This was the one which we ordered from Amazon. This is how it came from Amazon with the box open already, so that was fine. It's got all the pieces inside of there. I checked through all of that before we got started. Why we're putting a bidet on this toilet is for a couple of reasons. One, I personally am a huge fan of bidets. They are fantastic. They make me feel clean. I like them a lot. They also add an added benefit when it comes to an RV toilet because it's simply adding more water into the black water holding tank. The more water you can have in there, the better. So in order to get started on this, before we even dive into the box, I'm gonna start by removing the toilet lid because the bidet itself is held in place with the lid mounts itself. So I start by removing these two little covers. They're just held in place by plastic and they're just friction which holds these little nubs inside of there. And then I'm going to use a flat blade screwdriver and then I'm gonna move my hand up underneath here because there are some nylon nuts. Here's what the nuts themselves look like. There's probably a better one over here. So this is what I'm going to be holding on to when I am undoing the plastic screws. So it's really important to find a flat blade screwdriver which fits the nylon screw really nicely. You don't want a super loose one because otherwise you can dig into and damage the plastic screw itself. So while I'm holding the nut with my other hand behind the toilet, I'm just gonna start unthreading it. And I like to just use the downward force of the screwdriver until this comes off in my hand. And this is the plastic nut, which is held on the other side. From there, I can reach underneath and push up the screw. And this is what they look like. So this is also a good thing to know if you ever need to replace your toilet lid. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, holding from behind and unthreading. Now you can do this installation while the toilet is installed in the RV. The major thing which you will want to make sure is done is that you have turned off the water and disconnected any supply that might still be attached to the RV and that your water pump is shut off. So when you undo this connection for the water, you won't be soaked down. A really good idea as far as this is concerned would be to, once you've turned off all of the water to it, hold the RV toilet flush pedal down and let all of the water drain out of the system. You're still going to have some water which dribbles out once you undo the water connection from the back of the toilet, but this will minimize the amount which dribbles out from there. So now that that's free, we'll get into the bidet itself. So this one is designed to sit basically like this on the toilet, and it comes with these multi-position sliders which you use to align the bidet with the holes in the porcelain. I always leave the plastic washer in place before I do any kind of install like this. And I also like to try to align the center of the bidet as best as possible with the center of the toilet bowl. From there, we are ready to put our lid back onto the toilet. And we're gonna sandwich all of this stuff together using the plastic nut and screw that we previously removed. I like to get everything aligned and then just send it straight down just by pushing it and holding it in place. And you can see that I have some threads, not a ton. It's kind of a tight fit, but I believe that this kit came with longer screws if necessary. And here they are right here. I don't like that there's only a couple of threads on there, so I'm going to use the hardware provided by the kit. And I'm going to use these really long stainless steel with a washer, and it just drops right into place there. And then I can use the provided plastic nut and thread it up on there nice and easily. Again, since we're holding this in place with metal now, I don't want to over tighten things. So again, all I need is, you can use a Phillips screwdriver for this as well. Since I've got the flat blade in front of me, I'm going to go with that. But there's the first one installed. Now I'm going to load a washer onto the hardware provided by the kit. Make sure that everything's still lined up. Drop it down inside of there, and then use the new plastic nut and hand thread it up inside of there. Now, before I tighten everything down, I want to make sure that my lid is correctly oriented on here and that the bidet itself is also in the middle of the toilet bowl. And everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down. This is a slow closed lid, which basically means you have to force it closed because it doesn't have enough weight behind it. So give it a nice tighten down. Again, we're not wrenching on this. You just want it snug. From there, we can close off the little covers, and then we will start doing the water section of this. So this kit came complete with a stainless steel braided hose and the correct water fitting for this specific toilet. There's a whole list of different toilets which this bidet works for, but it is an RV specific toilet bidet. So just make sure that you check your model and serial number, which is located at the bottom and back of the toilet. This goes the same for Dometic toilets as well, to make sure that this thing will fit onto the toilet which you're trying to apply it to. We want to pause the video for a moment here and issue a buyer beware. When it comes to installing a aftermarket part such as a bidet on your RV toilet, make sure that your plumbing system, which connects to the toilet, has plenty of room. This will allow for the new plumbing piece which came with the bidet in order to sit inside of there. And it did not in ours, which is why we did not end up installing the bidet on our toilet. So just a quick heads up there that you might run into this thing on your own RV. Make sure you measure twice before you install something. So this came with a little spool of Teflon tape. I do not need to use it at this time. The reason why is because I have a gasket inside of the fitting here. And when you have that, and especially if it's going onto plastic threads, typically you do not need to use Teflon tape. So in order to get this started, I'm going to kind of keep this at a side. And again, because we're using a metal thread going onto a plastic fitting, it's extremely important that you don't cross thread it. If you cross thread it, it will have leaks, and oftentimes you can't really fix it. If you goober up these plastic threads, you'll need to replace the entire base. So it's super important that you don't cross thread it. So I'm going to do my trick where I back it out, go in reverse threads until I feel it click into place like that. And then I can start gently threading it on there. I won't be able to get too many threads going on this one initially because it's a tapered thread. So that means that the tighter I get it on there, actually you can get it going, started really nicely. So you'll want to make sure that this threads on very easily. If you need too much force and resistance for the first couple of turns, then you'll want to back off and start again, because again, you do not want to cross thread this. Once you get it as hand tight as possible against there, you'll want to take a set of adjustable pliers or regular or the correct size wrench in order to fit it onto the back of this fitting. I like to use Knipex pliers, adjustable tools. They are amazing. I am completely obsessed with this tool and will be using it a lot in the future videos. So I will be placing this on there after I've adjusted it correctly. And the nice thing about Knipex is you just press a button and then click it into place, and it's got all kinds of settings for this. So from there, I'm going to gently thread it on, and what I want is it to only be tight enough against the water valve so that this does not freely move. You want to make sure that the gasket is seated against there, and once it gets snug, then you've gone tight enough. Again, we do not want to wrench on this thing because you run a very high risk of over threading it, and that can cause some major problems. So now that I have this piece installed on there, I will be, once we're installing the toilet, I will be putting the water line onto here, but since it's out in the open space, we're going to just leave it like that, and then I'm going to move my stainless steel braided hose over to the bidet portion itself. Again, you're using a metal thread on a plastic. You really only get one shot at this, so you want to make sure again that you're not cross threading. So what I'm going to do is back it up until my threads align, and then gently start threading it on there. I felt the nice click, and it's threading on very easily by hand. I'm not using Teflon tape on this because I've got a gasket on there and it's going into plastic. So I'm going to get it as snug as possible, readjust my wrench, and then just give it a quarter turn. I don't want to go any tighter than that. I can't move it free with my hand, but I'm definitely not wrenching on it. And that is how you install a bidet onto your RV toilet. The toilet which this was installed on is a Thetford. The toilet which this is installed on is a Thetford Aqua Magic Style 2, and it installed great on it. So there you have it. We successfully installed a bidet onto this Thetford toilet. It is a Clean Camper brand name bidet. We got it specifically because it fits this toilet and several others. Just make sure that if you want to install a bidet that you check what kind of toilet you have first. However, if you're experiencing leaks or other problems with a toilet, please feel free to check out some of the other videos which we have linked, which will walk you through how to disassemble and reassemble a toilet in order to get access and then actually successfully replace parts without skipping any steps. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.